Herobrine is one of the most enduring and culturally significant figures to ever emerge from a video game community, not because he was designed, but because he was imagined. His power comes from the space between what Minecraft is and what players fear it could become. At a surface level, Herobrine is simple, a default Steve model with blank white eyes, seen at a distance, watching, then vanishing. But this simplicity is exactly what allowed him to evolve into something far more complex. He is not visually overwhelming or mechanically dangerous. Instead, he represents the unsettling idea that something is present when it should not be, and that presence is aware of you. The origins of Herobrine are rooted in early Minecraft's loneliness. Before villages, complex structures and ambient mobs filled the world, single-player Minecraft was quiet, vast, and isolating. Players often found themselves wandering infinite terrain with only environmental sounds and their own actions for company. In that context, the idea of being watched took hold easily. Herobrine emerged as a projection of that unease, a way to give shape to the feeling that the world was too empty to be truly empty. His humanoid form mirrors the player, which is crucial. Herobrine is frightening not because he is monstrous, but because he looks like you. He is the reflection of the player embedded in the world, suggesting that the game has produced its own observer. The spread of the Herobrine legend is a textbook example of how internet folklore forms, mutates, and legitimizes itself through repetition, imagery, and emotional timing. It did not explode all at once. It crept into the Minecraft community the same way Herobrine supposedly crept into worlds, quietly, ambiguously, and just plausibly enough to be believed. Early Minecraft players were already primed for this kind of myth. The game was unfinished, lonely, and full of unexplained behavior. Terrain generation created strange shapes, lighting bugs caused figures to appear and vanish at the edge of fog, and single-player worlds felt vast and isolating. Into this environment, a story only needed a spark. That spark was the image. The original Herobrine screenshot is arguably the most important artifact in the entire legend. It showed a distant Steve-like figure standing in fog, partially obscured, with eyes that appeared bright white. The image itself was low resolution, compressed, and imperfect, which worked in its favor. It looked like a genuine in-game screenshot rather than staged art. Because early Minecraft visuals were already rough, nothing about the image immediately disqualified it as fake. The fog, the distance, and the angle all contributed to the illusion that the photographer had captured something unintentionally. This is crucial. The image didn't scream creepypasta. It looked accidental, like evidence stumbled upon rather than created. The image was first shared alongside a short story describing strange occurrences in a single-player world. Trees with no leaves, tunnels that seemed deliberately dug, and the recurring sight of a figure that vanished whenever approached. The story ended with the narrator claiming they were contacted privately and told to stop investigating, signed only with the name Herobrine. This framing was brilliant, whether intentional or not, because it mimicked real online whistleblower stories. It implied consequences, secrecy, and danger without ever proving anything. People didn't just react to the image. They reacted to the implication that something was being hidden. From there, the legend spread through Minecraft forums, image boards, and early YouTube. What made Herobrine different from other creepypasta monsters was that players could go looking for him themselves. Minecraft wasn't a passive medium like a book or video. It was interactive. Anyone could load a world, wander into the fog, and convince themselves they saw something. Each retelling added new evidence. Screenshots, videos, and anecdotes that were impossible to definitively disprove. Every glitch became a potential sign. The community effectively crowdsourced the myth, with each player unknowingly reinforcing it for the next. The theory that Herobrine was Notch's dead brother played a massive role in solidifying the legend's emotional weight. According to the story, Herobrine was the ghost of Marcus, Notch, Person's deceased sibling, left behind in the game either intentionally or accidentally. This detail transformed Herobrine from a random anomaly into something tragic and personal. It suggested guilt, grief, and unfinished business encoded into the game itself. The rumor spread quickly because it humanized the horror. Players weren't just afraid of a glitch. They were afraid of disturbing something deeply personal that wasn't meant to be found. What made this theory especially powerful was its apparent plausibility. Notch was a single, highly visible creator at the time, and indie development carried a mystique that made personal myths believable. Few people had direct access to him, and information traveled slowly enough that rumors could thrive before being corrected. Even when Notch explicitly denied having a dead brother, the denial didn't kill the theory. In fact, it strengthened it for some believers, feeding into the idea of secrecy and suppression. The legend thrived on ambiguity, and official statements couldn't erase the emotional logic the story had already established. Copeland's livestream marked a turning point in how Herobrine was perceived. By the time of the stream, Herobrine was already widely known, but the legend still lived in a gray area between joke and belief. Copeland's stream capitalized on that uncertainty. During the broadcast, strange events appeared to occur. Unexplained fires, sounds, doors opening, and other anomalies that aligned perfectly with existing Herobrine stories. Viewers watching live felt like they were witnessing something unscripted, which is critical. Live streams carry an inherent sense of authenticity. Unlike edited videos, they feel immediate and unfiltered, making viewers more likely to suspend disbelief. When the stream ended abruptly amid mounting tension, it sent the community into overdrive. Clips were shared, analyzed frame by frame, and debated endlessly. Even after Copeland admitted the stream was staged, the damage, in mythic terms, was already done. The event had given Herobrine a sense of immediacy and reality that no forum post ever could. For many players, especially younger ones, that stream was the moment Herobrine stopped being a story and started feeling like a presence that could intrude into real time. What ultimately allowed the legend to spread so effectively was Mojang's response, or lack of a definitive one. The recurring, removed Herobrine joke in patch notes was playful, but it also acted as a wink to the audience. Instead of shutting the legend down, it acknowledged it. This blurred the boundary between official and unofficial lore, making Herobrine feel like a ghost hovering just outside canon. The joke became a ritual, a reminder that the legend was never fully laid to rest. In the end, Herobrine spread the way all effective modern myths do, through a combination of visual ambiguity, emotional storytelling, social proof, and participatory experience. The picture gave people something to see, the dead brother theory gave them something to feel, and the livestream gave them something to witness. Each layer reinforced the others, creating a self-sustaining legend that no single denial could undo. Herobrine didn't spread because people believed he was real. He spread because Minecraft made it possible to feel like he could be. Narratively, Herobrine is often framed as a ghost or remnant, frequently described as the dead brother of Minecraft's creator or a corrupted player entity left behind in the code. These explanations are less important than what they imply. Herobrine is something that should have been removed but wasn't. He is digital residue. This places him in a liminal state between intentional design and accidental existence. He follows no clear rules, does not interact with the player directly, and leaves behind subtle changes like tunnels, pyramids, or altered terrain. These actions feel deliberate but incomplete, as if he is mimicking purpose without fully understanding it. That ambiguity keeps him perpetually threatening without ever confirming his intent. Psychologically, Herobrine functions as a focal point for player paranoia. Many reported sightings are tied to natural terrain generation quirks, lighting errors, or misremembered landscapes. But once the legend exists, perception changes. Players begin to scan the horizon for movement, question whether a structure is natural, and interpret glitches as signs. Herobrine becomes a feedback loop between expectation and experience. The more people believe, the more convincing the evidence feels. This phenomenon turns Minecraft itself into a stage for horror, even though the game contains no such entity. Herobrine does not need to exist in the code to exist in the player's mind. What makes Herobrine especially compelling is that he rarely acts. Traditional horror villains chase, attack, or kill. Herobrine watches. His lack of aggression creates a sense of suspended threat, a feeling that something could happen but has yet. This transforms every quiet moment into a potential encounter. In many stories, the player only realizes Herobrine was present after he disappears, reinforcing the idea that they are always one step behind his awareness. This asymmetry of knowledge, he sees you, but you don't see him, creates a subtle but persistent dread that lingers long after the game session ends. Culturally, Herobrine became a shared myth that blurred the line between fiction and reality. Fake patch notes, removed Herobrine jokes, videos, and mods all contributed to the legend's legitimacy. Mojang's playful engagement with the myth ironically strengthened it, because official denial paradoxically made the idea feel more real. Herobrine became a symbol of community storytelling power, demonstrating how a player base could collectively author a character more iconic than many designed NPCs. He is proof that games are not just software, but spaces where folklore can emerge organically. Over time, Herobrine evolved from a source of fear into a symbol of nostalgia. As Minecraft grew more populated and mechanically dense, the lonely atmosphere that birthed Herobrine became harder to replicate. Modern players are less likely to feel truly alone in the world, and so Herobrine's original impact has softened. Yet he remains relevant because he represents a specific emotional era of the game, when the world felt infinite, silent, and unknowable. In this sense, Herobrine is not just a ghost in the game, but a ghost of how the game used to feel. At his core, Herobrine is about uncertainty. He exists in the gap between player and world, between control and vulnerability. He asks an unspoken question: what if the game is not just responding to you, but observing you? That idea is deeply unsettling in a medium built around player agency. Herobrine does not need to break the rules of Minecraft. He only needs to suggest that there are rules the player does not know. And that suggestion is enough to make him one of the most effective and enduring urban legends in gaming history.